How do you think this plays out politically for Corbett, for the gubernatorial candidacy?
Well, it's somewhat of a boost to Attorney General Tom Corbett's campaign for governor, but the reverse would have been, extremely bad for him. It would have been disastrous, some say, had he lost all of these cases. He pinned a lot on these cases. To Corbett's credit, he was willing to take this on 3 years ago, and it would have been easy to maybe turn your head and say, I'm not getting into all of this with the legislature. But he did it, and it was fraught with risk in terms of maybe some of these people walk. Back in December, a former Representative, Sean Romali, was acquitted in relation to the same scheme. Actually, it was a ghost job in Vion's office. And that had a lot of Corbett's critics saying, look, this is all going south for him. And had he subsequently lost the bonus case, it would have been bad. But the fact that he did win, someone said to me, prosecutors are expected to win. So I don't know how much of a huge plus it is for him, other than the ongoing attention and publicity he's gotten over 3 years.
Well, it's not over yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah. There's a lot more, defendants and charges.
There were 25 people in all who were charged with using public resources for campaigns, and some of them current legislators, some former legislators, some staffers, and all of that is to play out over the next year or two. And the appeals, I'll be a lot grayer than I am now till those are resolved.
All will be.
Yeah.
And the Vion trial was just a part of this, Brad.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's just one piece.
Yes. Okay. Now, what's the next piece going to be?
Well, the next piece is supposed to be a second trial for Vion on a separate set of charges involving a nonprofit in Beaver County called the Beaver Initiative for Growth. That he,
or big.
Yeah, big.
Yeah.
That he and an aide, Anna Marie Peretta Rosepink, who was convicted in the bonus case, are accused of misusing. And the Attorney General's office says they're ready to go to trial on that. Some people would wonder, well, why would you want to go to trial if you've already convicted somebody of felonies? But you never know what appeals courts are going to do. And more basically, if you think someone committed a crime, you can't just say, oh, that's okay. We already convicted you of others. A lot of people speculate that there would probably be some kind of plea bargain on that case, along the lines of, if you're facing 13 felonies, what's one more? But with Mike Vion, that is probably not going to happen. I mean, he is a fighter in all of this, and he, has made it clear he's going to go down, with his gun smoking.
And his defense, one of his defenses, I guess, so correct us on this, Maura and I have both worked at the Capitol, and that is that he was just one of many, that this goes on all the time. And this is the way that business has been traditionally done. Was that, did you regard that as one of the defenses, and how well
it was not his defense. His lawyers wanted it to be his defense, and they tried very hard to make it their defense. But in a pretrial motion, Judge Richard Lewis in Dauphin County ruled that they could not use that as a defense. However, it was still a sub-theme that they would try to, get in from time to time throughout the trial, and they would gladly talk about that to people, reporters outside the courtroom, and they claimed this was a political prosecution by Tom Corbett, stepping on the backs of Democrats to get elected governor of Pennsylvania, which Corbett strongly denies and says, we were just following the evidence, and these are career prosecutors who handled this case.
Well, since let's shift gears just a little bit. We've talked a little bit about Corbett running for governor. What's your sense of the overall governor's race coming up? The
winner at the moment is undecided. If you look at all the polls and add it up, most Pennsylvanians haven't made up their minds, and that's not the least bit surprising this far out in a primary where most of these people aren't known to the voters. Corbett has a good deal of name recognition. He's well known, but the other candidates, Sam Rohr is the other Republican candidate. He's a state house member from Berks County, and maybe beloved there in Berks County, but isn't known statewide. On the Democratic side, you have one statewide Democratic office holder in Jack Wagner, the Auditor General, the state's fiscal watchdog. And Wagner has run before, and he has some name ID. Dan Honorato, the Allegheny County executive, is another candidate, but he's a regional candidate, although he has the most money. And you have
support of Governor Rendell.
Yeah, well, tacit support, right? You have Democratic Senator Anthony Williams, who's well known in Philadelphia, but certainly not known much outside the city. And you have Joe Huffle, who's been on the statewide ballot before for U.S. Senate. He's a former congressman. He's now a Montgomery County commissioner, the most liberal of the Democratic candidates, but one who is a very competent candidate.
I'm a student of social media these days, especially following the presidential election and how much money President Obama raised through online, through Facebook. And it's interesting to see that Corbett does lead in terms of fans on Facebook, but second to him, following very close behind, is Sam Rohr. And then Honorato and Jack Wagner are way back in terms of number of fans. Also, the ability to raise money. Sam Rohr has a donate button, so does Corbett. So I think it's interesting to sort of follow how they're doing in terms of using the social media to get their word out. And there's some work to be done on the Democratic side, from my perspective.
Are they using Twitter effectively?
That I haven't seen effectively, and just been watching Facebook mostly. But it's because you can gauge the fans and everything there. So. And they can donate online straight off of Facebook. Do
you think it's plausible that the support that's there for Corbett and Rohr on Facebook is a result of the Tea Party movement, that you have so many grassroots people out there interested in this?
That is possible. I mean, you can't just build your Facebook and hope that people will come. They have to be marketing it and promoting it in some manner. So if they're getting support from other organizations to do that, it would lend to additional fans and more funds being raised online for them. So it's quite possible. You don't see that within their own Facebook site, but they're getting fans from somewhere. So that could be where it's coming from. But I just found it fascinating that Sam Rohr is right behind, Corbett and fans.
Perhaps that gives us the opportunity to say, in fact, Susquehanna Valley Center has opened its own Facebook page.
Yeah.
And we urge you to come on and take a look behind the headlines and be one of our fans. How many fans do you have at this point?
I think there's about a
no,
handful.
I meant your.
I just hit 100.
Facebook page.
Well, it's a very interesting point too, because the support that Rohr has out there. When he announced his campaign for governor, it was a group of patriot supporters who, I don't know exactly what the affiliation is with the Tea Party or some offshoot, but the interesting thing there is that Huffle, for instance, has been criticizing Corbett, going after Corbett for various motions and things that he's done, suggesting that he's trying to pander to the right wing of the party and that he's concerned about how well Rohr will do in this race. I don't know whether he has reason to be concerned or how well Rohr will do, but that is some of the thinking out there.
Brad, in the last minute, in the last 45 seconds, what's the legacy going to be of Governor Rendell? If you were to have to portray that now, what would you say?
Ka-ching. Casinos. I really believe that is the
that's
one.
That's his legacy.
That he got casinos in Pennsylvania, and that money eventually, more of it will be used for property tax relief. Right now, a lot of people would say that's been an abysmal failure, that you don't really get much property tax relief. But the biggest reason, in fairness to Governor Rendell, is the two big casinos in Philadelphia aren't online. And whether you like gambling or you don't like gambling, clearly that is property tax relief is the thing that people are going to care about.
Okay, Brad, thank you for bringing us up to date on the political scene in Harrisburg, and we hope to talk with you as this political year progresses and we elect a new governor. We'll be back next week with a new edition of Behind the Headlines. We'll see you then.